Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to dive into the Volante aluminium nozzle. Now, part of the reason why I want to do this video is also part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel is that I can't find anything about this product. I wanted to buy one and I have no idea whether or not this is worth the money because it is quite an expensive piece of kit. And worried, if this is going to destroy my gun, if this is going to help it run, what it's going to do. The only place I've ever really been able to find anything was on forums or maybe Reddit and stuff like that, and they don't particularly go into the details I want to go into. So today we're going to do a quick review of the Volante aluminium nozzle to see how well it runs, what potential issues it can run into, and also what is the why anyone would want to buy one of these. So first of all, let's dive into some of the other nozzles. So why would you want a metal nozzle? Here we have a standard TM nozzle, completely bone stock, but this one is finished. Now, from externally, you might not think there's much wrong with it, but if you look closely, the loading bit on the nozzle is bent upwards. Now, these TM ones are fairly soft, the plastic is fairly soft. It's designed to fail, because if this is the part to fail, then hopefully your magazine feed lip and your chamber, your hop unit is all going to be fine. So this is designed to fail, and you know what, these are not expensive to get replaced. You can get some reinforced one as well, which I'll get into now. So here we have the Guns Modify upgraded reinforced nozzle. These are great, fully compatible with the TM and Novesque as well, the double Eagle ones, and they are really good construction. I've used them before, and they are great for what they are. However, there are still weak points where you can see in this one where the nozzle return spring goes, the screw is, it's bent the whole housing ever so slightly, and this is enough to cause some misfeed and double feeding, and is not having a good time. That's why it's out here. And then it moves on to one of my personal favorite, and this is one I always put in my clients, is the Angry Gun MPAS or AMPAS. So good bits about this is that it does have a reinforced loading nozzle bit, and it's great, and it's got obviously adjustable power, and it's fairly stable. I've never really had an issue with them. Got a fairly strong return spring, so great for faster systems, CQBs, and it's great. The only thing that I have against these is that the seal at the back, sometimes depending on what bolt you get, can not seal up properly. But there's plenty of other seals you can use to swap onto, and it's easy enough to do so. That is not really a huge problem. Now, these are great, and what you would realize by now is that the Volante nozzle, it doesn't have one of these springy bolt face mechanism, the dampener, if you will. So the stock, the GM versions all have them. Now, I think it's just down to the fact that they wanted to design the nozzle to be as solid as possible. You can see it's all reinforced and everything. And I can see why they did it. It's a full CNC construction, and honestly, I have to say, the build quality is awesome. And we'll put it into a gun and see how it runs. Now, you can see in the design here, you have some cutout. I am guessing it is to save some weight because it is made out of metal, so it is a little bit, theoretically should be heavier than the plastic ones, but it is actually a bit lighter, which in terms could mean that this whole system runs a little bit smoother, a little bit more efficient. Now, what comes in the package is the nozzle itself and the rocket valve inside, as well as the nozzle return spring. Now, let's just dive straight into it, and let's get this disassembled and have a look what's inside. It would help if I get the right screwdriver. Here we are. It is quite tight, so just be very careful you're not stripping this Phillips at the top, because if you strip this, not a very good time. Here we are, it's coming out nicely now. Here we are. So now here we have the nozzle return spring and the screw itself. You can see that comes out factory Loctited at the tip, so that's good to see. Now the nozzle return spring, it's not particularly strong, I must say. Stronger than the stock one, but it's not as strong, I'd say, as the Angry Gun impasse. And the one thing that I'm a little bit worried is the design of the loop here. So the design of the loop here is a open design, where compared to the other nozzle return springs, here is fully enclosed and is actually normally double looped. So that means when you put the pin in and the screw into the other end, and they, you know, hold on really well. So that's interesting design. And we'll get the flow valve out and see what that looks like. Let's get something in here and we should be able to poke that out. Here we are. So here we have the front end of your nozzle return spring, and you have the rocker valve. So here's the rocker valve and the rocker valve spring. The rocker valve spring is quite strong, so I'm expecting a slightly higher FPS potentially, and we'll see that when we put everything in, just to see how the system run. Yep, and here we are. Nice O-ring on that. One thing that I'm quite intrigued is, will this fit an impasse? Because if it is going to run a little bit hot, I want to see if there is a choice where I can fit an impasse and see if the internals have been designed in such a way that you can do that. So I'm going to try out the AirSofttech Marie impasse kit. So I have used this before. Personally, I prefer the Angry Gun one. It is a little bit more foolproof, as I say. And the AirSofttech ones, I want to say maybe a little bit less stable than the Angry Gun one, but let's see how this will fit. So, okay, so straight off the bat you can see that it doesn't fit the stock, rocker valve spring. Let me find that. So I found the spring, that's all good. And what's interesting is that that spring doesn't fit the standard Marie size. So I have got another rocker valve spring out from another nozzle. I'm going to see if this will fit down the end of this and how well it will work. So here's an issue. So it looks like down at the bottom of the nozzle itself, they've bored out the diameter to be this spring size that will allow it to get to the bottom and allow that to work properly. Yep. Whereas this one, the AirSofttech one, won't work in that case. Well, that's a shame. Glad we tested that out. That means whatever FPS we're getting, if it's too high, then we're going to have to try something else out. Here I've also got another nozzle return spring. This one's already fully fitted, so I'm just going to swap this one in and then get this one up and running. So a little trick to any viewers that is struggling to find how to put this nozzle return spring in. What I like to do is that find where that hole is, where the screw is going to go through, and line up with the nozzle, and you can see right through the nozzle. So I'm just going to slide this down, and then I'm expecting to see the light straight through, and it's going to block the light, and then the next time you see light, that's where that hole is going to be. So that's blocked the light, and there is light again. So I like to hold it just about where that stops, and then we're going to put the screw back in. Like to give it a tug, make sure that's all lined up. Does look a bit squint. I'm going to try that again just to make sure that this is in properly. Here we are. Not lined up. I'm eating my own word right here. Struggling ever so slightly. So let's try that again. Make sure the hole is lined up and see light about now. Here we are. That now should be a lot better. Yep, this is now going in. Here we are. Screw down, and nozzle return spring is working. We'll put the stock ones aside. Right. So to fit a nozzle, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a bolt out of this particular rifle. Now, I want to mount it into this rifle in particular, is because this is one of my friends. I've done the build for him, and he loves to run this collapsible stock, which is a great little setup. Here we are. Seems right. So it's a great setup, but he likes to run it with a 130% spring in it, which I know is a bit psychotic, but hey, he likes the feeling, and that's what he likes to do, and he chews through nozzles like there is no tomorrow. So I've just said, hey look, why don't I swap you a metal nozzle and see how you like it. So here we are, just doing that for him now. So to swap out nozzles on any NWS system is to take the bolt out, and there's going to be two screws on top. Normally is either Phillips or Allen keys. and then there's one spring underneath here. What I like to do is get a pair of tweezers, lift up this bolt buffer bit. It does lift ever so slightly, and then once it lifts up, grab the spring and it will come straight out. Pull the nozzle out a little bit, and then the nozzle guide will just pop out, and then you have a little plate at the back here. This should now just slide out freely, and then voila, the nozzle comes out. Now, for this particular one, I should mention that the Volante nozzle do not come with a rear seal, so I'm just going to reuse this one. This is a dynamic precision seal. I really like these. They work really well in most of my bolts, most of my builds. Provides a good air seal. I highly recommend them. And I'm going to steal this O-ring back here as well. And we'll put it on to the rear here. Just make sure there's no obstructions, and we can now begin to install the nozzle by just putting it in. And then what I like to do is hold the nozzle back a little bit while inserting the rear plate, and it's literally just exactly how it comes out, goes in. Should just lock that nozzle in there, so now when you pull on the nozzle, it will spring right back. All we now have to do is to put this nozzle guide back in and act as a damper as well, and then now putting the spring back. Some people struggle with the spring. I like to do exactly the reverse, lift it up a little bit, put it into its channel, and then use the tweezers, just bend it a little bit onto that little nipple that's inside, and then push it down and secure it down with the two Phillips, and you should be all good to go. So let's screw this down. Let's get the other one. Here we are. Just to give it a quick test, it's returning perfectly fine. And then we'll get the rifle back in frame. And put that in. Seems to be all good. It's lining up perfectly well. It's providing some nozzle seal, as you can see. That's good to see. Right, now we'll put a few mag through it and see how that works. Be right back. Right, now we are going to do a FPS check and just to see how well it runs. So I've got them fully gassed up and it is running 0.2 gram BBs. Let's see how well they run. So I'll try to read out the numbers as they go along. I'm going to do 10 shots and see what it's like. Right, that's very interesting reading. We are averaging at a 0.38, 0.4 joules. I don't know if that's the mag or the nozzle, or potentially that the barrel is quite short in this particular rifle, so it's not really giving it a lot of time to speed up. So we're going to try the gun's modified mag now. It did feed all 10 round, no problem. Right, so we've fired another 20 round. Nope, missing one. Here we go. Fired another 10 round. It's sitting at about the same FPS, which is very, very interesting. I should say I am using the Ultra Gas here, and the workshop is kind of cold, so that might have some something contributing to that. However, So quickly interject the main video. I've done some more testing after the video's been recorded. I can see that the FPS was quite low, so then I thought I'd try a different nozzle seal, and then swapped out my dynamic precision one out for a guns modified one, and it brought the FPS up by almost twice. So as you can see, it went up to a much more respectable about 270, 280, 260 FPS. So that's a lot better. It just goes to show that, you know, for most of my build, I use the dynamic precision, as it gives me the most consistent and the best result so far. And then it just goes to show that in this case it's not the case, because of potentially different spec, depending on the nozzle and the bolt, how they all seal up together. So you just have to try out what works, what doesn't. So in this case, the GM works a lot better than the DP ones. I'm going to try a few other things and let you guys know how it gets on, hopefully in a YouTube short, and potentially in the next video I'm going to make a couple of months later to do a full review on the nozzle. So we'll cut back to the main video now. So that is very interesting. It fed every round. That's what we like to see. That's what we wanted to see, because online I have heard a lot of rumors that it splits your BB in half and it doesn't want to work quite well, smash up your hop units, etc, etc. So so far testing, it fed every round, and it's fine. The FPS is a bit low. I could try running hotter gas during gameplay potentially, but it works. Now, I should mention at this point is that I have installed the Volante nozzle on my personal MWS, which is a HAO kit for the HK416. Lovely piece of kit, but the Volante nozzle doesn't like to be used with the Stamags. Now, I have found out it is due to the fact that the magazine in the magwell wobbles for the HAO kit. So that wobble introduced while firing has caused double feeding, jamming, malfunctions, and split BBs. Where, you know, the GM mags fed perfectly when I took it out to play last weekend. But on this particular case, this is a standard Tokyo Marie upper and lower, and it fed every round. So in terms of FPS, low, which is surprising because the spring is quite stiff. And in terms of how well it runs, so far, not a problem. What I'll probably do is another review maybe in a month, 2 month time down the line to see how well it runs. Has it caused any issues, especially coming into Scottish winter time? How does it fare in a cold? And we can have another video discussing that. So hopefully you enjoy the video. If you have any questions about this particular product, drop a comment, drop a like and subscribe. That'd be great. Wonderful. Thank you very much.